I'm not really sure. What should I do with my hands? What should I do with my hands, Paul? I'm so confused. What do I do with my hands? What do I do? Do I type to hashtag nation? Do I Hey, look, we're live. Awesome. No,
You
I'm just
just
kidding.
make left turns,
Just
man.
make
That's all
left.
you do. Put your hands on the wheel. Just make left turns.
All right, I'll do that. Ladies and gentlemen of hashtag nation, welcome to our exclusive live feed of the Patriots versus the Buffalo. But I should read it the other way. I'm sorry, Paul. The Buffalo Bills versus New England Patriots, which is going to be the game that was flexed till Saturday. Um, Pretty excited about that, actually. That's going to be pretty fun. Um, Joe from Believers Talk will have the game for you guys over on Sportscaster. So if you're not sub to us over on or a fan of ours on Sportscaster, please be sure to go do that. Some very interesting things that we're going to talk about in tonight's game. Keys for the Buffalo Bills to secure a victory against the Patriots, and we'll revisit the scenario for the Buffalo Bills to actually win the division, if because that's still a possibility for the Buffalo Bills as well. Paul, do you want to first kind of kick it? I'll kick it over to you for the giveaway that we have for the Punt Foundation. We're almost there. We are so close.
We are super close. So, with the Punt Foundation, there are still 16 boxes remaining. So those are $5 a box, a maximum of 5 boxes per game. So there are only 16 remaining. And for prizes, just to bring you all up to speed, we give prizes at the half and at the final. You can donate through Super Chat if you want any boxes. We'll go ahead and just give those to you right away. Everything is completely random. So you get a random box on the sides. If you've ever done football squares, you know they're numbered 0 through 9. Those are randomly assigned as well. The prizes have been randomly assigned. So everything is totally blind to us. We don't even know what prizes are being given away per game, which is kind of neat. But within the prize pool, we still have an autographed Andre Reed mini helmet. We have an Ed Oliver mini helmet. We have a Harrison Phillips autographed mini football and a Trey White autographed mini football. Those are the 4 remaining prizes at $5 a box. 100% of the proceeds go to the Punt Foundation. So if you want to get in now. There's very few boxes left for the Patriots game. We still have some space left for the Jets game. There's still probably about 40 boxes left for that. And once we hit our goal of selling all these boxes out, we together would have raised $2,000 for the Punt Foundation. So to everybody that's already donated, thank you so much. You're giving money to a phenomenal cause. 100% of everything that we generate goes right directly to the Punt Foundation. And if you haven't donated yet, you can do that through Super Chat or through PayPal or Venmo or Chap. All our information is in the description, and we can get you set up with those boxes and hopefully give you something, that'll kick you off for some pretty cool Bills gear into the new year.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that, Paul. That we were able to do this, and we're so close to getting there, and we were giving away some sweet Bills merch. I'm very happy that we're doing that. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. I can't wait. We got the usual suspects, as always, are in the chat flying in here. With the Buffalo Bills versus New England Patriots, the Patriots, I believe, are 6-1 at home. Bills are 6-1 on the road. If I read that correctly, I'm not sure. Maybe you guys want to check. Basically, the Bills have only lost 1 away game. Patriots have only lost 1 home game. So it is going to be very, very interesting to see what gives as the proverbial rubber meets the road this Saturday. I'm going to come out of the gate hot. Hashtag Nation, you guys are here. What's up? Bills are going to win this game easily, Paul.
Ooh.
Coming in hot. I'm going full super fan right now. I swear to God. I was watching tapes, going over the last couple meetings these two teams had, going over some things that have been going on with the Buffalo Bills that are trending upward and going on with the New England Patriots trending downward. Like, I know everyone with the facade of the Patriots. Everyone wants to talk about the facade of the Patriots. They came out of the gate strong. They were 8-0, and they've gone 3-3 since then. Their quarterback play has not been where they need it, but their defense is phenomenal. I'm not going to deny them that. However, a little bit of things that I'm going to give you tonight on their defense is going to be very, very surprising. But I got to tell you, I was more nervous for the Dallas game. I was more nervous for the Pittsburgh game. I'm not nervous. I'm not. Call me unbelievably insane. But when you have 4 turnovers against this team, and a blocked punt. You have 4 interceptions. I'm sorry. You have 4 interceptions and a blocked punt return for a touchdown, and you only lose by 6 points. Now, a couple other reasons why, real quick. I just want to get this off my chest. Prior to playing the Patriots, Week 4, September 29th, everybody remembers that. The Buffalo Bills have played the Jets, the Giants, and the Bengals. Okay? All right. Then you play the Patriots. Your defense showed up. Offense was reeling, had a little bit of trouble. You go down 13-0 with 6 minutes into the game. All right. For 54 minutes for the rest of that game, you beat the Patriots 10-3. Okay. If you look at it's looking at it through my eyes, how crazy I am. This is how it works. The Buffalo Bills in the past 3 games now, leading up to New England, they played Dallas, who was ranked 8th, Baltimore, who was ranked 7th, their defenses, and Pittsburgh, who was ranked 5th. They are playing tougher and tougher competition as it goes, and they've already played the Patriots before, and they know what to expect. The Patriots, on the other hand, are having a little bit of trouble, and like I said before, the facade of the Patriots to me is already gone. It's over. It's finished. Like, it's not there anymore. Like, people would get beat before the first series, and I don't think that's happening anymore. But their defense is so phenomenal that I believe the Buffalo Bills win this game. If they play relatively mistake-free football, they'll win this game easily.
So you and I see it differently. We see this differently.
That's fine.
Yeah, we see this differently. And that's okay, right? Because it's going to make for great discussion. So I know a lot of people are going off of Brady's last 5 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you take a look at Brady's last 5 games, we'll kind of summarize quickly, right? He did throw for 326 in the loss against Houston, but he only completed 51% of his passes.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So it wasn't a great Tom Brady day, right? And first off, can we just lead with the fact that if you go to ProFootballReference.com, Tom Edward Patrick Brady is his full name, and then it lists your nicknames. Have you ever looked at what Tom Brady's nicknames are on ProFootballReference.com?
Atrocious.
Yeah.
I hope that's one of them.
It is not. TB12, Tom Terrific, Touchdown Tom, GOAT. Here's where it gets weird. The Pharaoh, Comeback Kid, or Sir?
Sir
Tom Brady. Yeah.
I'm not ready to put him up there with Elton John, but okay.
I know. I know. So I know a lot of people are going to point to the last 5, 6, 7 games as saying, well, Brady's washed up, but I'm not really ready to buy that. Just yet. This defense is we've seen defenses breathe life into average football teams for a long time here in Buffalo. And they're going to ride the defense like the Patriots typically have done. I mean, you've talked about Tom Brady's history as a quarterback, and I mean, how many times did he have a top 10 defense? The answer is usually. You look at these seasons that you would consider successful for them. The answer is, did Tom Brady have a top 10 defense? The answer is usually yes. Usually he has a top 10 defense.
When all is said
to ride.
When all is said and done at the end of this year, he'll have a top 10 defense 11 times of his 18 seasons.
Mm-hmm. Right. And you just have to put enough points on the board. And that's kind of where they are right now. So if you just take a look at the scores of their recent games, they lost to Baltimore by 17. They only beat Philly by touchdown. They beat Dallas by 4. They lost to Houston by 4. They lost to Kansas City by 7, and they blew out Cincinnati, which again is
you blew out.
Nobody's pointing fingers at that one. They also blew out the Jets.
That's another reason too, Paul, because you start to look at the Buffalo Bills in their 3 games prior to meeting New England the first time, and you start to look at the 3 games prior to meeting them now. I mean, now New England's coming off a Cincinnati win, playing against Buffalo, rather than Buffalo coming off a Cincinnati win playing New England. So I understand how going to Foxborough. I mean, the Buffalo Bills too, and there's another reason why. The Buffalo Bills seem to thrive going on the road, and they seem to really enjoy that, and they play well on the road against certain teams. Hell, they took over Renegade, for crying out loud, in Pittsburgh. They took it over. And you know what, the things that I said before about the things that are trending up for Buffalo. So just really quick, in the first 9 games, 4 games for this for New England Patriots defense. All right, the first 9 games, they had 4 of those games. The teams were able to gain over 300 yards offensively on them. Okay, in the last 5, 3 of the games, teams have been able to gain over 300 yards of total offense. Buffalo Bills, conversely, in the first 5 games. Okay, in the last 5, to only 2, and one of those was Dallas when they were just giving up yardage at the end to Prescott and all those guys. But the other thing that has been very, very telling for me is the improvement of this defense, how it seems to go. It tears up. And what I mean by that is, since the Philly debacle of the 200 yards rushing they've had, they have only allowed, on average, 93 yards rushing combined to every team that they've seen. That's 7 games going against Peterson, Chubb, Lindsey, Elliott, the combination of Jackson and Ingram, combination of Connor and Samuels, and whoever Miami had at that time. I forgot. But point being, it seems like the Buffalo Bills and their defense is starting to trend up. They're starting to cause a few more turnovers here and there. And then you look at the New England Patriots. They're a great team, great coach. I just don't think they have enough bullets in the gun to go up against this Buffalo Bills team, who is super, super hot right now.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of one of the things that you kind of look back at, again, just going up the last 5 games, right? And the least amount of rushing yards that they had as a team was 74 against Philly. The next closest is 94 against the Chiefs. But again, they barely squeaked out a win against Philly. They were still in the game in Kansas City. Outside of that, they've been over 100 yards on the ground in each one of those games. Even the games that they lost, they had 145 on the ground against the Texans, 101 against Dallas. Like, this is a team that likes to run the football, but they also like to get their running backs involved in overall touches. And Buffalo has the linebackers to be able to deal with that.
Yeah.
So I think from a matchup perspective, this is cool. This is a good game for us. But there's one thing, and this got called out in the chat. Let me just go back and see who said it. Robert Milligan said we didn't have Singletary the last time we played the Pats. And he's right. You could have tape on any player you want in the NFL, but the fact still remains, until you have tape on against your team, it's not really the same. Yes, it's the second time we're playing the Patriots, but this is the first time they're playing Devin Singletary. So I'm really curious how the Patriots intend to take him out of the game. Super curious.
Well, it's even more curious when you think about the fact that Frank Gore ran for over 100 in the first meeting with these guys. So if Gore was able to break free and do a lot of those things that he did, another interesting caveat too, actually, Zay Jones played in that game. Remember, a lot of people were getting mad about the interception that Allen threw that Jones didn't even go up for.
Right.
That's a 50-50 ball that now you think whoever he throws it to now will go up for it. That's one. 2 is this. TJ Yeldon played in place of in Singletary. So who knows? Right. That may be another thing that we need to talk about. I mean, we've been banging the drum for 2 weeks about this offense to show a couple other things that they have. And if you were saving anything, now's the time to let it loose. And also Duke Williams didn't play.
Right.
I mean, he hasn't played for a while. Duke Williams ended up getting activated, I think, the game after this one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So the Buffalo Bills looking to mix things up a little bit. They end up activating Duke Williams after they played the Patriots. But the interesting thing I found, the Patriots gained only 224 yards against the Buffalo Bills in the first meeting. They only had 11 first downs. So this defense definitely came to play, and like I said, the ultimate undoing of the Buffalo Bills was their turnovers. They have to try to protect the ball and move it, obviously successfully against the New England Patriots. But here's a real interesting thing that I found. This little nugget when I was digging through the archives. Omaha was helping me out with it too.
The stat monkey.
The stat monkey. Omaha, the stat monkey. The hen dog comes in. He says 2 words: play action. I love it. And Croft didn't play. Derek Robinson comes in. If you blitz Allen versus not blitzing Allen, his completion percentage when you blitz Allen is 53. His completion percentage when you don't blitz him is 63. So it's a full 10 points higher. Do you know what Tom Brady's is when you blitz him versus when you don't blitz him? The exact same as Allen's. Let me repeat that. This year, the splits for Tom Brady, if you blitz him, he's completing 53% of his passes. If you don't, he's completing 63. Now, what does that have? What do you have to say for that? For a team that has been showing that they're blitzing a lot more lately, going into this game, going into Foxborough, hoping to take it over in 22-degree weather. What do you think? I mean, that to me, I thought it was going to be reversed. I thought when you blitz Brady, you give him the answers. However, this year, not so much.
Yeah. It seems like the speed of the game is catching up a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. So, it just seems like he's slow. Everything he's working through is slow. His receivers are probably the worst group of receivers that he's had to work with in years. Edelman they're going to pull him out on a Jason Peters, roundabout scooter cart to get him out on the field.
Yeah.
It's like this is the worst group of receivers he's had in a long time, and it's showing right now. And one thing I want to call about the Bills is that, this is sort of strange to say, right?
Yeah.
The Bills have only not had 100 yards on the ground in 2 games all season. Do you know what games they were? I'll just ask you. Do you know what games they did not run for 100 yards?
Baltimore, New England.
Wrong.
I don't know then.
Philly and Cleveland.
What?
Yeah, Philly 98 yards on the ground. Cleveland 84 yards on the ground. The next closest game after that was Baltimore at 104 on the ground as in total. But for the most part, they got to be averaging like 130 yards on the ground on the season per game. Like without even looking at it, just looking at the numbers, they got to be at 130 yards. I mean, they had 244 against the Broncos. It's talking about hanging your hat on the Broncos. Good God. You put up 250 on the ground. Like that's crazy. That is crazy. Well, but the number of turnovers, you want to talk about the Bills' recent success, the number of turnovers they're generating on defense. You can't deny that.
No,
right?
35.
You have to give this offense possessions, and you have to give them field possession. You have to.
Yeah, I was comparing the two defenses because, the Pats have 36 turnovers, the Bills have 21. So it's an extra 15 possessions they're given to their offense in the game. And as far as the defense goes, the Pats defense have given up 1,373 yards on the ground this year. The Bills defense has given up 1,420. Now, what does that mean, Mario? Why are you just throwing these numbers at us? Well, here's the deal: 50 yards more the Bills have surrendered on the ground than the Patriots. The Patriots have been in a lot more blowouts, so it's not like the Bills were in blowouts and teams couldn't run on them or try to still establish the run and do things like that. The Bills still had to be very conscious of the run. So in that respect, a lot of teams were abandoning the run against the Patriots early on in the season when they had those blowouts. So they weren't even running against them. So if you bottle that all up, I mean, who really, I mean, when you just look at numbers, this is why numbers can be deceiving. Who do you really think has the better run defense? I mean, when last year, when Allen first played the Patriots in Foxborough, they lost 24-12. They had like 270 yards on the ground, the Patriots. So you didn't need Brady. First game this year, you had your turnovers and your block punt. You didn't need Brady. A lot of times, people don't realize this, you don't need Brady because the defense will take care of it. So if they can really minimize the mistakes offensively, and I think what they're going to do is they're going to come away and they're going to end up scoring points. And this is a New England team, even though you're in Foxborough, where you can go down and kick 3, and get 3, put the pressure on them early. You don't have to go for it on 4th down all the time. When you want to try to put them away, at least in the second half, that's something you can do. But I don't think you really have to put them away early and take too many chances early. I think if you play it close to the vest and you let your defense hunt, that's what New England's been doing. Mm-hmm. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, it's a fascinating situation with what New England finds themselves in, right? Because here's a team that just has a reputation of always hanging around, and they've played a tougher schedule than the Bills. And I know there's a lot of talk in the chat right now actually about Brady going to LA to play for the Chargers next season. Just real quick, Mark, because I think you'll probably know this. Do the Bills have to play? Because Chargers in the West, right?
Yes.
What are the odds the Bills draw the Chargers if Brady goes to LA?
That would be amazing.
What do you think the odds are? Seriously.
Pretty good. Because they played Denver this year.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, no, wait. They may not. I'm sorry. They usually like rotating the guys. They usually like rotating them. So that last year they played LA. Remember Peterman's. Wait, or was that 2 years ago? What was Peterman's 5-pick game? Was that 2 years ago? That was 2 years ago, right?
2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago. So that was LA last year.
No. Peterman's 5-pick game? Yeah.
So it was 2 years ago. And then last year they played. I can't remember who they played last year, but then they played Denver this year. They played Oakland last year. I don't know if they might be playing that division too. We both play West Conferences, James Sanders. So they will play.
Yeah, Hen Dog said the same thing. We should be playing the West. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that'd be phenomenal if that happened.
Just can't avoid this guy.
No, it'd be great. It'd be great to knock him down. So what does that mean? Rivers goes to New England?
Rivers is not driving his residents. He's got a huge tour bus full of kids that he takes on the road with him. He's like John Madden. So he's not driving that to New England.
Pretty much.
Not going to happen.
So, Paul, I mean, we're talking about this. I know I came out of the gates a little bit hot tonight because I was looking through everything. Usually, this is probably the reason why I feel this way. Usually, if you've turned the ball over 4 times and have a block punt against the Patriots, they hang a 40 burger on you. All right. Bills still in position to try to win that game at the end, even though Allen got knocked out. He's not going to forget that. It always benefits a team, in my view, it always benefits a team that if you lose against them early and then you play them later in the season, sometimes certain teams will have that, okay, yeah, we've seen this team before, we know how to beat them, but it even seems like a different team from week 4 till now. They seem a lot tougher. They seem a lot more together. They seem a lot of certain things that they have on the offense more cohesive. Patriots have not seen this up-tempo offense that the Bills have been running for the last few weeks, but if there's a guy that's going to figure it out, it's going to be Belichick. But to your point, I want to get to your point because you said it so well that there may be a level of concern, maybe a little tin hat going on for if Dable's not in the box in Foxborough. Talk to me about that. I want Hashtag Nation to know this.
So, and remember Old Fashioned Trousers actually had mentioned this in the chat before. New England has a really, really awful reputation for headsets just not working. I think, wasn't it Tomlin that was getting a radio station in his?
Yeah.
Was it
Tomlin? He was getting
like
opera or something in his.
Yeah, exactly. So they have a horrible reputation for it. It's been going on for years. The NFL has investigated it, but they come back that it's inconclusive or that whatever the issue is, there's nothing they can do about it. Listen, Dable's been in the box, and we've seen this offense be successful while he is in the box. But homeboy spent a whole lot of time in Foxborough. So if anything is actually going on, it'll be very fascinating to see whether he makes the decision to go in the box or to go on the sidelines. Now, here's the deal. If he's in the box, that means that he trusts Ken Dorsey to call plays for him because Dorsey's been on the sidelines the last 4 games. So if he is in the box, it's because he and McDermott have faith in Dorsey, which brings up a very fascinating wrinkle to the offseason, right? If Dable starts getting head coaching interviews, right? So do I expect to see him in the box? At this point, I do, because you don't want to change what's working. But the same token, there's a reputation there that you need to be aware of, and he should be really aware of it, having been there for so long. So if I were him, I intend on being in the box. But at the same token, their reputation, it's going to cause you to approach things differently. And the Patriots have been doing this for years. Their reputation precedes them, and they force teams to approach them differently. Not that they have to do anything different, but their reputation says that something is going on. And they force teams to have to approach game planning for them, from personnel to packages to where the coaches are going to be, different than every other team in the NFL.
It will provide an interesting wrinkle, and I love how you started to segue a little bit into next year, what might happen. Didn't McDermott didn't he get voted as Coach of the Year?
Sure did. Sure did. Coach of the Year.
I always have to try to double check those things with you because there's a lot of those fake articles that just are clickbait things. You click on it and it's like Rick Astley or whatever his name is singing.
Hey, Rick Astley's never going to give you up. He's never going to let you down.
I hate you so much sometimes. I swear to God. So yeah, I had to confirm that with you. But that being said, do you think that throws a wrinkle into Dable? If we just do this for a couple of minutes, I just want to talk about this for a second.
Sure.
Donnybrook Rickrolled. If he's the head coach, he's Coach of the Year. Do you think that puts more eyes or less eyes on Dable? What do you think? Do you think more eyes come on Dable or less eyes come on Dable as far as the head coach's job? Because a lot of people I love how it came out 2 days after the Pittsburgh Buffalo game. Like if Pittsburgh would have won, it would have went to Tomlin or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you bring that up because I think that's a very real piece of that conversation, right? Is this look at the Tomlin and McDermott matchup we saw this week was those were two guys who were coach of the year candidates. And what better time for them to go against each other than right before that decision has to be made?
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. But I look at it this way: you take the Bills from 0 to hero, right? If you beat the Patriots, that is interview ammunition, right? When you walk in and you're going to interview Brian Dable, you know that he's going to bring that up. You know that's a check mark in the positives, right? Mm-hmm. He did something that really very few teams have been able to do the last X amount of years, and he did it with who, right? And that's the selling point is, look at what I had and look at where I got. I did it with nobody, but we can see, like, look at Mike Smith in Atlanta. There's a lot of other coaches who have a reputation of having gotten the job done with players that weren't very well known at the time, and they've parlayed that into head coaching jobs. Dable is going to have a really solid resume this year. We're just going to ignore the 5 other times he was an offensive coordinator and only lasted a year. We're just going to ignore that, right? Because right now says that he's qualified. But if he does get head coaching nods, it would make sense. It does. It would make sense. Leslie Frazier should be getting those same interviews. But we know for a fact, you and I both know that people who are offensive coaches are getting more preference as head coaches right now in the NFL. Yes, that's just the trend.
It's the hot button thing. I agree with Daniel Garris, and I agree with you. I mean, I personally thought Frazier was done last year. I thought he was going to go somewhere last year because of the success that the Buffalo Bills defense had, and had a lot more pressure on it last year. The defense had so much more pressure on it to perform last year because the offense was. You want to talk about the offense is still finding their way this year in 2019 and 2018. I mean, it was like, what was it, Bird Box? Just looking around.
It was tough.
I don't know what I'm doing.
It was tough.
Hey, Donnybrook, who's your daddy, Paul?
Donnybrook's got himself 4 boxes for the Patriots game.
He's got
because he said, "Who's your daddy?" Listen, I lost to Donnybrook in the hashtag Fantasy Football League. Some of you may not have been subscribed to us when at the start of the season we ran a hashtag fantasy league. It was 20 people. It was super cutthroat. We did a draft. It was nasty.
He goes, "Who's your daddy?"
A 20-person fantasy football. It was nasty, and he was my daddy this weekend because he beat me by 25 points, at least, maybe 30. He almost beat me by 30.
Oh my God, that is phenomenal.
So Donnybrook, you get 4 boxes right in. Still going for that cash. We're giving away a cash prize for the
Yes, we are.
The winner of the hashtag fantasy league. So
he's
still going for it.
So life of John. Bing, bing, bing. Whoops, wrong channel. That's beautiful. That's good old Rico over at Buffalo Fanatics. Um, Chad Graziano. How about Matt Barkley's enthusiasm during Renegade? Paul.
That should be a T-shirt. Barkley with the jacket over his head. Just that should be a T-shirt.
Did you know that after I saw that video, about an hour after it, there is currently a Barkley jersey on its way to my house right now.
Oh God, are you serious?
Him and Oliver.
Oliver, I get.
Yeah, because did you see Oliver dancing with the towel he had? That was
did.
That was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I was actually watching that video was actually a little somber for me, because if you haven't seen it, it's an awesome video of a cameraman on the sideline for the Bills caught Barkley swinging his jacket over his head while they're playing Renegade, which is a big thing in Pittsburgh. Yeah. And then Oliver's dancing on the sideline. But who else was over there kind of jawing with him and laughing? It was Jordan Phillips and Shaq Lawson. And it was contract year, back.
Yes.
Quarterback. Yep. Right. So that's when I saw that video. I was like, those three together are formidable. Right. But contract year, rookie, contract year.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Between Jordan Phillips, who did not make the Pro Bowl, which I am just astounded by. But maybe the fact that he's only playing 35% of the snaps was a reason for that. Right. We don't want to discount that. Yes, he's leading defensive tackles and sacks, but I'm sure that the fact that he only plays 40% of the snaps is probably a problem for a lot of people.
Yeah,
and Shaq Lawson's just absolutely out of his mind this year.
Shaq has been Phillips mocked TJ Watt. It was pretty funny. No, they that's one of the things that is like, if you take a step back and let's look at the business aspect of it, when you talk about Shaq Lawson, when you talk about Jordan Phillips, these guys are on their 1-year deals, Lawson's at the end of his rookie deal, and Phillips is on his 1-year deal. They contract years are like, all right, there's a reason why they bring that up a lot, is that these guys, they want to get paid next year, so they're putting everything on the line this year to do this and that. I think from Phillips' standpoint, he was drafted by Dennis Hickey and Dennis Locke down in Miami. So I think he's a guy that they want to keep long term, but they really weren't sure about. So that's one. Two is you got Shaq Lawson. He was kind of a guy that wasn't really a lot of people would talk about him, but he's not really motivated. Well, he's motivated now. So that might have been one of those things where the Bills, let's not give him his 5th-year option. Let's see how he plays when his job's on the line. Okay, let's try that. So then you have these two guys influencing, along with Star Lotulelei, influencing this rookie. And, hey, take advantage of every opportunity you have. Play as hard as you can all the time, blah, 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 and all this other stuff. I could see all three of them on the line next year. But it was a calculated move by the Buffalo Bills front office, and you're taking a very big risk. But you're offsetting that with what you said, 30% of the snaps. This isn't a guy that's going to come into your defense, whatever your defense you're running, and going to play like 65%, 70% of the snaps. If you think that's what you're buying, then that's not how it works. He is successful, and Lawson, Phillips, Oliver, all those guys are successful because they're not playing. Now, Oliver has gone up because he plays the run and the pass equally well. He's a freak. So these other guys, though, you got to be very sure of what you're buying, and that's why probably McDermott and Frazier, the defensive philosophy that they have, they've been able to keep a lot of these guys together and fresh, and they extend their careers by doing that. Guys don't realize that. Okay, I'll take a big paycheck to go there. I'm going to play 70%. Maybe I'll get hurt, or maybe I won't last as long and my production will go down. There's a reason why Kyle Williams was able to play an extra 2-3 years in this defense because, he wasn't in there banging all the time. He was like 30-35% and extended his career. So, what did I miss in the chat? Everyone's talking about Depew versus everyone. What's going on here?
We're talking about Utica came up, Batavia came up. Life of John Batavia is like the underworld from SpongeBob.
I love the nation, man. They're so fun.
You guys are great.
Oh yeah,
you guys are great.
We're gonna be doing Paul. We're gonna be doing post game. We doing post game Saturday, Or am I just doing that?
No, I am not. I have a show. I have a gig on Saturday.
Why'd you tell the people about it? They may be in the area, so hopefully. Shameless plug.
Yeah, I have a show. I'm a songwriter generation. So I have a show at the Fraternal Order of the Eagles. I've never been there, so we'll see what happens.
Was that a serious place? I thought you were joking.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Yeah, no, it's a real thing. It's like that. You ever hear like the Moose Lodge? I guess it's one of those things. I don't know. They're paying me to be there, so I'm showing up. That's all there is to it.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah. Grendel asks, is Foster gone?
Financially, no.
This year, no. And also, one thing I wanted to bring up, somebody mentioned that Tyler Kroft is taking Dawson Knox's place. Yes, Tyler Kroft caught that touchdown pass, right? It was a beautiful route. Nice little corner route. You can't really argue with that. It was a beautiful throw, great play, great call. He only played 19 offensive snaps, which equates to 29% of the snap count on offense. Dawson Knox played 48% of the snap count, 31 plays. Dawson Knox also played 0 special team snaps, whereas Lee Smith played 6 and Tyler Kroft played 9. So again, that tells me that there was plenty going on there. That Dawson Knox, he's staying off special teams, which tells me he's still your tight end 1. Even though Lee Smith also played 31 snaps, he played 6 snaps on special teams. That's still de facto. Who's playing special team snaps? Lee Smith was in there just because of matchups. Yeah. Dawson Knox is your TE1. Kroft isn't taking that mantle from him.
No, I mean, and because of the injury to Kroft, I think it was supposed to work in the opposite direction, and like just out of attrition. You know what I mean? Kroft was hurt. He was supposed to be the guy in there and to tutor the young rook, and it worked the other way around, where Knox was just going in there. He was getting on-the-job training while the Buffalo Bills were trying to gel together as an offensive unit, and then Kroft comes in. It's like, hey, now he's a bonus. He's a bonus to have in there. You put him on the other side if you want to go, you want to go 12 personnel. And 2 tight ends, and you don't want Lee Smith in there. Now you got Kroft in there. The defense has to make a decision, and that's one of the things that the New England Patriots, if we could circle this back around, near the end of last year, what they were doing a lot with Gronk was they were using him as a blocker. They weren't really using him as a receiver. They were using him as a blocker.
Right.
So it's really great to see that. It's fascinating.
You look at the wide receivers just in the last game. John Brown played really all but three snaps on offense. The next highest wide receiver in snap count was Cole Beasley at 69%, played 45 plays, 69%. After that, Isaiah McKenzie is next up at 46%. Andre Roberts, 26% at 17 plays. Robert Foster did not see a single offensive snap last game.
No, he didn't. Wow. But if we could, it seems like we're gonna. If you've been with us and you've been riding with us since the beginning, a lot of you guys have that are in the chat, and we thank you for that. It's almost going to seem like waterboarding to you at this point, but from a financial standpoint, Paul, Robert Foster is smart for the Bills to keep, because next year he's restricted?
Yeah, so the way that works now, Robert Foster was an exclusive rights free agent because he was entering his second year in the league on a 1-year deal. Anytime you have a player that goes up and down for the practice squad, basically they're just on a 1-year contract. So last year was his rookie year, so he was an exclusive rights free agent. This year, that means that he'll be an exclusive rights free agent again next offseason. The third offseason would be when he's a restricted free agent, which means that they place the round tender on him, which can only be original round, first or second, right?
And since he wasn't drafted. Yeah.
Right. So since he wasn't drafted, he's either going to be tendered at a first or second round pick.
Which is hard to envision that he would be tendered at either one of those.
He's not playing.
Yeah, he's not playing. And, it's...
Right. Yeah, he's not playing.
No, I was just going to say, we have a... Robbie Anderson came up in the chat. We have a video on our, if you guys dig through the archives, if you go through the playlist, I think it's called Salary Cap Contracts. If you look through there, we have a detailed breakdown of restricted free agent, exclusive rights free agent, and all this other stuff. If you guys want to check it out, it's just an informational video that we do every once in a while. When Paul's like, hey, maybe we should cut one of these just to have in the hopper. And this is probably one of the reasons why we have those videos for you guys. If you want to just get the business side of the NFL and whatnot. It's fun to have those, but you got to remember too is at the end of 2020, the new collective bargaining agreement will be negotiated. So whatever happens there, it's going to be very interesting. A lot of these contracts that have been going on, you guys might see a turn in some of these contracts with the free agents that are coming up because of that. The guys might try to bet on themselves. They may try to get their money now. Who knows what happens? So, but the way that things have been going, if I could just take a leap forward, I'm super excited and curious to see how. Because the clock's ticking, Paul. I mean, Milano, Dawkins, Trey White, all these guys, they could re-sign. We haven't really seen Bean and McDermott re-sign some of these guys yet. So they're still like in their infancy phase where they haven't had a chance. They haven't signed draft picks. I'm curious to see what bar they set for their own players and how they want to reward their own players. With $90 million going into the offseason. That's our discussion in the car for a couple months from now. But what we're talking about with the New England Patriots, I think you got the number 1 and number 2 scoring defenses in the league. I would be remiss if I didn't prepare, #Nation, whoever watches us, and any Bills fan anywhere, that don't get too frustrated with this game. If it's a 3-0 game going into halftime, don't worry about it. It's playing into both the hands of both teams. If it's 3-0 and Allen has 3 picks, you should feel even better about it. I'm not worried about it. I expect a very chess-like match with the Bills coming out on top in the fourth quarter. That's what I expect. And I think it might play out that way, but I don't expect this to be, a 28-21 game. I really don't, unless the defense is score some points here. But I don't expect it to be. I expect it to play out a lot like the Pittsburgh game did. I really do. I don't know why. I just really do. I expect it to play out the same way. What do you think, Paul?
Two things that I want to bring up.
Okay.
I'm going a little sideways from what you had mentioned.
That's fine.
One, I saw Amari Cooper's name come up in the chat.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper is a free agent coming up into next offseason.
Yes.
So that is definitely a possibility, but he's going to be expect to pay him 16 to 18 mil a year, right? That's going to be the number, 16 to 18 for Amari Cooper. I mean, you want him, that's what you're going to have to pay. Dallas is just always perennially in jail. They've got Dak they have to pay. Zeke is paid. They've got a lot of problems there. Looking at 2020, so they really just aren't going to have a ton of room. I know it says they've got $86 million in salary cap space, but that's going to change pretty aggressively for them. So Cooper is definitely on the board as somebody to pay attention to, but he's going to be expensive, and Bean's very careful about paying big money to players. Very careful. Next up, who had asked it? Let me find it real quick. I just saw it 30 seconds ago. It was Steve Lynn. Why are we forcing a QB that is a vertical passer and an offense that is horizontal? Here's the
Great
deal,
question.
right? You're going against a quarterback in New England who has problems throwing the ball deep and has for a decade, right? This is nothing new. Short area quickness, Brady is deadly, and he has been. Montana was the same way, right? Montana was deadly under 15 yards.
You shut your mouth.
He was deadly under 15 yards.
No, he was deadly.
I'm not saying he couldn't
too.
throw it long. I was just saying, I understand that, right? But one of the reasons that he was so dominant in that era of football was because he could knock the tab off a soda can from 15 yards away, right? He was deadly accurate.
Very true.
But Allen is not, right? So on the surface, this doesn't seem like the best fit. And we talked about Brian Dable, possibly getting interviewed as a head coach. There are not many people who run this offensive system successfully in the NFL.
Nope.
So the truth be told, right? Why this system for Allen now, right? And what happens if you're going to go away from this? Because let's be real, we know that if Bill Belichick is staying in New England, it is a carousel of quarterbacks, and he'll figure out a way to make that QB successful. But I don't really know if we have the depth in our offensive staff to be able to handle something similar, right? So if Dable were to leave for another head coaching job, what made the EP system the right fit for Allen this year, and what is it going to do to Allen next year?
Well, I think that question gets answered with some of the comments that we had in the chat. If Dable goes, because in the EP system, typically the philosophy, you don't need a stud wideout for it to work. If the quarterback has control of the offense and where guys are, where they're going to be, and you have very intelligent wide receivers, they don't have to be Julio Jones, AJ Green, DeAndre Hopkins. They don't have to be those guys. They really don't. And Brady has proven that in New England. They run the system better than anybody. If you want a blueprint of how to run the EP system, it's New England, because they have a 7-yard passing tree, and that's all they do. It's more predicated on the run. The Bills can definitely run. So you want to put people are talking about putting a square peg in a round hole as far as Josh Allen goes, because you look at the talent that he possesses versus the talent of Brady at this stage in his career. There's a reason you're 42 years old and still playing in the NFL. It's because of that system. So if Dable decides to leave and he leaves early, and you bring in a guy that's a West Coast or Air Coryell type of offensive guy, then you may see the Bills go for an Amari Cooper or that kind of type guy, where that type of offense, you need a stud. EP, you don't really need a stud. So who knows what, because if Dable decides to leave, if they end up just promoting Dorsey from within because he interviewed for the job before, could they hire somebody else because he interviewed for it before and, they didn't like what they saw and they hired Rick Dennison over him, for crying out loud. So I don't know what type of system he would try to run, because he's worked with Cam Newton, and a lot of people have compared Allen to Cam as far as the legs and the arm. I think Newton runs the West Coast down in Carolina, but what ended up happening down there? Riverboat Ron got fired, so you don't know. And I mean,
and we had talked a long time about Carolina. Why was Carolina the gold standard?
They weren't. No,
we mentioned this before, where you look at Carolina, they win 2 games and then they win 12 games, and you're like, okay, so you're averaging 8 wins a season. Like, you're averaging at 50% or below, because they would go some seasons where they won 10, 11. Like, it was so hot and cold with him as their head coach. I didn't understand why Carolina became the gold standard for the Bills, that we had to pilfer everything that organization had.
Yeah. I mean, and guys are talking in the chat. I think it was Trousers Men in the Kitchen. Is Tom Brady a system quarterback? Well, let me just dispel the rumors. If you guys are going to get in an argument with somebody over this week about the New England Patriots, every quarterback's a system quarterback. It just depends whether or not they're in the right system. Now, I will say that Tom Brady, he's not stupid. He's one of the smartest quarterbacks to ever play the position. All right? This is the only praise I'm going to give him. I'm going to say that he is the greatest game manager in the history of NFL. He's the greatest game manager that has ever been. Okay? He doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't turn the ball over. He gets the ball out of his hands quick. He mixes up the run and the pass. He has mastered that offense. He's a game manager. That's what he is. Now, it's kind of going a little bit outside the box, but I got in an argument with a guy earlier. He said, well, Brady's the GOAT. You're just a hater and blah, 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 and all that sort of stuff. I was like, listen, you can't call somebody the GOAT if you think that somebody, if you took like another quarterback and put him into that offense for 19 years with Brady, if you think that quarterback would perform better than Brady, then Brady's not the GOAT. That's my thought on it. I mean, that's me I'm going to get off my soapbox now, because this isn't supposed to be about Brady if he's the GOAT. It's supposed to be about if the Buffalo Bills, the defense, have the number of the New England Patriots. I've said it for the longest time. Man under too deep. You play man under to make Brady go second level on you, he's not going to want to do that. And with the injuries that are going on with the New England Patriots, everything that's going on in their organization, they're 3-3 in their last 6. Buffalo Bills have played some really tough competition running through the gauntlet that you talked about, Paul. They ran the gauntlet, and they came out on the other side with 10 wins. Unbelievable. I think it's just going to keep trending up. Now, I'm not wearing rose-colored glasses here. I'm going based on what I've seen on the tape and what I've seen how they've been able to produce. Now, the offense still needs a lot of work. They still need a lot of work. But this defense will keep you in every single game. They will. They will.
Paul Deitch asks, why does Josh Allen hold the ball so long when being blitzed? It seems like he holds the ball the longest in the league. There's a little bit of a reason for that, and it's actually part of the offensive system that the Bills are running. So the system is super predicated on wide receivers adjusting routes based on the coverages that they're getting from the secondary. So the receiver and the quarterback need to be on the same page of what those route adjustments are, because it's not verbal, right? They're all non-verbal changes. So as the play is developing, the wide receivers are adjusting routes accordingly, and it could go to something completely different, right? Based on what coverages are developing. The reason Allen holds onto the ball is because he has to wait for those receivers to make the determination on those routes, right? So that's really one of the reasons that you see Allen holding the football so long. He's not anticipating the routes being open just yet. He's not anticipating what the wide receivers are doing just yet. That takes years to develop chemistry like that. He's not anticipating yet. So that's why it seems like he holds the ball a little bit longer. He's waiting for the wide receivers to make decisions. That's why you'll also see like that throw to Knox last game, right? That ball couldn't have been a quarter of a second later, right? Quarter of a second later, that's a pick. Quarter of a second. He threw that into triple coverage, and it was a little late, right? The window was closing, but his arm is so damn strong that he can force passes in late because the ball gets there so quick, you know? So he has the ability to make reads late because his arm is so strong, but that hurts him in other facets of the game, like throwing the deep ball. I got to be honest with you. You can't catch a deep ball that's thrown 76 miles an hour. Things are frozen rope. You can't make adjustments in the air. That's why I was thrilled to see the John Brown catch. I was thrilled to see John Brown actually get to fight for a football for once. What are you laughing about?
I'm so proud of you, Paul. I'm so
what?
proud. I love hearing my words come out of your mouth.
Oh God, here we go. Great.
Thomas Falzone, first of all, thank you so much. We will win. Jones out. Singletary and Brady hurt.
We didn't get to the injury report, did we?
No, we'll get to that. But what I wanted to say was,
talking about injuries. So the way that it looks right now, Jonathan Jones is, injured.
No. We got
Jonathan Jones.
I'm talking to Hen Dog. Hen Dog said that Allen's arm is a freaking laser.
Limited participants. Juwan Bentley, Jamie Collins with the shoulder, Julian Edelman with the knee and a shoulder, Jason McCourty with the groin, Danny Shelton with the shoulder. Edelman is the story because that offense goes as Edelman goes. I mean, he's just the straw that stirs the drink, to be perfectly honest. When he's out, they have to run the football. They really don't have any sort of passing game without him in there. For the Bills, do not participate on rest. Zoe got the day off. Gore got the day off. Jerry Hughes got the day off. Ty Nsekhe with an ankle. Still out. I do not expect to see him this weekend. Corey Legit was a limited participant with the knee. So Tom Brady not appearing on the injury report for whatever reason. There's no harm in putting him on there, but
that's what the Patriots usually do. They usually put like 15 guys on the injury report and they all play. But Edelman, we got the intel today from a couple of friends of ours. It's his patella, and that's no bueno for Edelman. So, best believe the Buffalo Bills know that. No, what I was laughing at before was because right when the Buffalo Bills drafted Josh Allen, and I said, everyone had their thoughts and their opinions of Josh Allen and how he was going to be. I said, listen, it's so great. And they said, why? I said, well, he can make a read late. If he's just learning the offense, he can still make a read late and get the ball there because of his arm. And that's what he's doing. I mean, he's still trying to get it. He's still trying to get it. So,
yep, big time. Big time. I'd want to take a moment real quick just to mention thank you to the 131 people watching now.
That's how many we got. Dang.
If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. And also, if you want to get into the football squares that we have for autographed Bills merch, we now only have 12 boxes remaining. It is $5 a box. 100% of the proceeds go to charity for the Punt Foundation through Brian Moorman, helping kids and families with pediatric cancer. So we've got autographed Bills merch giving away at halftime and at the final. So it's a collection, Andre Reed mini helmet. What's the other mini helmet that we have? Ed Oliver mini helmet, mini football signed by Harrison Phillips, and mini Bills football signed by Trey White. Those are the prizes randomly given away. Squares are totally random. So if you haven't yet, you want to get in, now is the best time to do that. You can donate $5 through Super Chat or hit us up on PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. All that's in the description. We'd love to set you up with those boxes. We have a few boxes left for the Patriots game and a bunch still for the Jets game. And again, 100% of the proceeds are going to the foundation. Hopefully, if we can sell out all these boxes, we'll hit a total of $2,000 for them. And it would be great if Hashtag Nation could support Brian Moorman's Foundation. So, sorry with the commercial.
That's fine. No, that's fine. I'm more amazed by Men in the Kitchen. He said 132 people are watching. We got 3 likes. I guess we're not entertaining enough.
Yeah, sometimes we've got 39 now. It is what it is.
John McCall.
When does the roast of Paul start?
John McCall says, Paul, what's up with the 28K modem? That is phenomenal.
I still think this is Mario's fault. I still blame Mario.
You guys hear me fine, right? Thanks.
Oh God. Thanks a lot.
No, that's pretty funny.
The Bills make me wanna kick your heels.
Sorry, just wanted to throw that in there for copyright. Sorry, just had to do it.
We have 10 seconds. You know what, Paul? It's so weird. The Browns game, I was worried. The Cowboys game, I was worried. The Denver game, I was the run game wasn't really locked up. Pittsburgh game, I was like, oh man, if they lose this, blah blah blah. This Patriot game, I got to tell you, man, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm saying that in years past, in the past 20 years, you and I both know this very, very well. The Buffalo Bills would be going into a week 15, 16, 17 game against the New England Patriots just like, can we just get this over with? I want to know what draft position we're going to have. And they would get smoked by the Patriots. I don't have that feeling now. I have it like the Buffalo Bills are the hunter. Patriots are the hunted. They're on borrowed time, and it's only a matter of time. That's my feeling going into this game. You know what I mean? That's the confidence I have in this defense. So I think I put 17-13 in the chat for the game.
Well, you nailed it last week.
I nailed what happened. I didn't nail the score, unfortunately. I said 13-10, but I'm still a little bit unbearable this week because I told a few people that I was right about that. So I have this feeling. I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt. I have this feeling.
If Edelman's really banged up, these are going to be two teams that have to run the football, and I'm okay walking into a battle like that.
Mm-hmm.
I really am. I prefer to see TJ Yeldon active eventually, right? I think this would be a game where you're going to need a little bit of help in that aspect. You've been running just Singletary and Gore, but if you're going to be run heavy, I think you need a little bit of support there. So I'd like to see Yeldon active. But either way, if Edelman's really hurt, I just can't wait to see these two defenses trying to stop the run all day. I just can't wait. I cannot wait.
It's going to be a heavyweight battle, man.
I would love to see Ed Oliver just pick up Tom Brady and power bomb him right at midfield. That would just make my life. Just watch him pick the whole man up and just throw him to the ground. God, that'd make my life.
He would never do it because Brady always ducks into the fetal position whenever anyone's near him.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, that's a good question. What's the over/under on roughing the passers, and what's the over/under on non-called intentional groundings?
Oh boy, combined 4.
Combined,
I would say
4
combined.
4 non-called intentional groundings and sacks combined.
You remember,
okay, yeah.
You remember week 4,
yeah,
man. He purposely had intentional grounding and it was never called. It was so stupid. It was so stupid. 2.5 on roughing the passer. I don't think. I think obviously more roughing the passers will be called on Brady and less on Allen because of how they play. It's just the style of the quarterbacks that they are.
Captain Encino, it's a mercy.
I got that jersey. I should wear it soon.
Work code Red 01. I love it. I love it.
He came in hot, man. I think that was his first comment tonight. He just came out of nowhere.
I didn't see another comment from earlier, so yeah, I think that was the first one.
Yeah, but I mean, you start to think back at the history of these two teams, what's been going on. I remember a long time ago, the Buffalo Bills beat the Patriots 31-0 to start the year, and then at the end of the year, the Patriots beat the Bills 31-0 en route to one of their Super Bowls. So it could be one of those scenarios. I like to think back all the time to the Gronk hit on Trey White, which was atrocious and stupid. You think about the Edelman, the Aaron Williams attempted tackle on Edelman, which ended up hurting his neck and everything. You start to see everything that goes on. And then obviously the 34-31 victory at home with the Fred Jackson catch over the middle from Ryan Fitzpatrick. You start to see, there's a lot of history with these two teams, and they just don't like each other. And I think the Bills are highly motivated to continue the streak that they're on and to keep the momentum, going into the playoffs. And I think the Patriots are just trying to hang on for dear life. I could be wrong. I could eat my words on Sunday night when I'm doing the post game. That's very much a possibility, and I'd be happy to do it.
Do you think the Bills as a team will feel any more amped up now that Sean McDermott is going to be coach of the year to go out and put a stamp on it? Because if you're the Bills, do you really want to drop to the Patriots after Sean McDermott's named coach of the year?
No,
would you really want to do that?
No, but I think it's going to be how he approaches this week. If he's still, he seems like a very matter-of-fact guy. He's like, okay, all right, I was doing all of these things to start the season. Getting voted for this does not change any of that. I'm not going to amp up my intensity this week just because I'm coach of the year. That's not how he is. That's not how he comes off. I mean, I don't know the man, but from what I've heard, what you see with the guy in interviews, he doesn't give you anything in the interview. He was fired up once. He said the offense needs to score points, and ever since then they've been scoring points. So, they may want to do that for their coach. It could be a motivating factor, but I think this team is already. If you're not motivated to play the Patriots in week, 16, with a possibility of the division on the line to knock them off that perch, I think coach of the year is a moot point then at that point. That's all. That's all. Everyday flash, 42-9, Pats win.
Oh man,
Paul, we were
flash. I don't know about that.
we were. People told us last week how well we take insults and people that say stuff and handle adversity with stuff. 42-9. I don't know how I'd be able to take that. I mean, I would still go live for post game, but that'd be brutal. What do you say after that? You know what I mean? It was so bad.
All you do is you just put your head down on the desk with a 6-pack Modelo, and that's it. That's the whole post game. You lift up your head, take a swig, put the bottle down, put your head back down on the desk. That's the whole post game. Just an hour of that.
When Brady's arm fall off. I'll tell you this: if the Buffalo Bills defeat the Patriots, you're gonna have a snapshot of me outside in 20-degree weather doing the Stone Cold double beer hammer. I promise the nation I will do that. All right, I'm a man of my word. If the Bills win, you're gonna get a Stone Cold double beer slapped together, and I'm gonna down it outside. And I can't wait to do it. It's going to be pretty fun. Derek Jeffords. Easy there, buddy. Easy.
Love it.
I'm going to have a black t-shirt on. That's what I'm going to have on. I'm going to have a black t-shirt on. Twice. Oh, God. That was pretty funny. So we are nearing the end of the stream right now, guys. Hashtag Nation. Can't thank you enough for coming in and for your participation on the chat tonight. You guys are always awesome. Be sure to hit a like on your way out. And if you're first time to the channel and you like Bill's content and you like some good talk, we got a great community here. Hashtag Nation's awesome. And, Paul's here too, I guess. No. He just didn't even hear it because he was typing. Mario 316.
I heard it.
Anyway, so from I can't even do it right now. Be sure to enter into the Pun Foundation giveaway that we're giving. We still got boxes left. So, oh my God, you do jump better than Adam Sheen. You really do. All right, so for Paul, I'm Mario. We're Hashtag Nation. Thank you for riding with us, guys, and we'll see you Saturday morning over on Sportscaster. So, see you.